Yeah, yeah. Welcome to How Can She?
Snap!
This is the Marvel Snap podcast dedicated to the filthiest of casuals. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Bros, here with my brother from the same mother, Mr.
No big dealio.
Oh yeah, he's here. I got my... He's dropping mics all over the place. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I'm too fired up.
He's too fired up about my Marvel Christmas tree I got here with me. We're celebrating that Christmas spirit Marvel style. We got episode 31 for the boys and girls. The Blob. He's out. He's changing the meta. This card is insane. We're going to be talking about him. And we're going to be talking about the drop-off of the good old season pass, Sebastian Shaw. We're going to talk about the new February cards that were data mined. Nothing set in stone, but they seem pretty spicy. No Big Deal has not seen them at all yet, so it's going to be interesting getting his first hot takes. And then we're going to go over some of the upcoming spotlights and, you know, give your opinion on whether or not you should spend your hard-earned resources coming from a couple of casual idiots who you should never listen to. Let's get it! Mr. No Big Deal. The Blob has flopped himself upon us.
Oh man.
What are your thoughts on this card, man? How's your week been?
It's been fire, you know. I remember like after the pod last week, I was playing some Mr. Negative, you know, was having some fun, but like none of that matters now. The Blob is out. I'm so happy. I mean, I haven't had this much fun since High Evolutionary came out, like straight up. I haven't played this much since High Evolutionary came out. Like I've been grinding out here with the Blob, and it's just so fun, so good, and I'm happy. You know, I might have been on the wrong side of history with the Gladiator, but like I'm happy I've been hyping this card since we looked at December, because I've been eyeing this one for a while, and he has actually like exceeded my expectations somehow.
You actually have. You've been talking about this card for so long. Like, yeah, you've just like been, oh, I'm excited for the Blob. Like, oh, maybe it's not going to be good. I don't care. I want to get the Blob. Like, you've just been all about this card. And you know what? You nailed it, man. This card is so much fun. So much power. This card gets so big. It's ridiculous. I didn't think it was, you know, I mean... This is gonna sound so stupid, but like I really didn't think it was gonna be like 640 like regularly, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I know I talked a lot of shit last podcast, but is Thanos back? Is Thanos back?
100%, and that's, you know, I didn't think it was gonna be 640 regularly either. You know, I was thinking, you know, we're doing some ramp, some hella stuff, but yeah, obviously, frick, we'll just put him in Thanos, 17 card deck. What are we doing here? And yeah, he gets pretty big in that deck. So he's Thanos is all the way back. It might even be the best deck in the game right now.
I mean, it's definitely the flavor of the week right now. It's definitely the Thanos spice. Everyone's playing, you know, everyone I see is playing Thanos. You know, and why is that? Because you know the deck that countered Thanos the most, other than countering itself, other than Second Dinner countering Thanos, is Darkhawk. Because, you know, Darkhawk, if Thanos starts with a bunch of stones in the deck, so Darkhawk, you know, gets like 12 extra power for no reason. Well, now with the Blob, Darkhawk becomes 0. So there are no Darkhawk decks because everyone's playing the Blob. And Thanos is just a natural fit for this, you know, giant, absorbent humanoid mutant thing. That's the Blob. Yeah. He just gets so much power. It's like such a great turn 6 play. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and this weird thing in that, like, I didn't really think about with Blob either. Like, we knew it was gonna just ether Darkhawk. I mean, you call that like the second, you know?
Yeah, that wasn't
the second even remotely. I'll probably be like, oh yeah, goodbye Darkhawk. You've been saying this for weeks now, but yeah, I didn't like think about it, but he's pretty nice into Loki too. And I'm not seeing too much Loki out there, but they don't want a Blob. Like, they definitely don't. It's a bunch of 1-drops in that deck, so that's a tiny Blob. And yeah, I mean, just most of your cards are like not great for them. Like they take a Professor X or something. Like their Prof X isn't gonna do anything. Like I'm running Miss Marvel in my deck. Like they got a bunch of 1s. It's just, you know, a bunch of, like, what are they gonna do? Like the Loki, the steals aren't great, but Loki before was really good into Thanos. Because you get all these generically good 5-drops, generically good 6-drops, and Loki was 3 cost back then, and he just owned Thanos. But I don't know how Loki even fares. I mean, maybe just nobody's playing it, and maybe the Loki players will figure it out. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this guy's crazy, man.
It's hilarious. Yeah, he just regularly gets so much power that like I was watching Dara streaming today for a little bit. You know, he's playing his version of the Blob, and we're gonna get into a bunch of Blob decks from a lot of the top creators. You know, if you wanna play your Blob Thanos.
Yeah, or you know, if you just want to play No Big Deal version too, you know, I'll get.
Oh, we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get the No Big Deal, spicy, chonky Thanos. But anyways, like, so he was playing a mirror match, you know, a different kind of Thanos. He's playing his version of Thanos, and they both blob on turn 6. And the other guy's blob is like a 6/18 or 6/17, and his was like a 6/30 or something. And like the whole chat's like making fun of their blob, like, oh, 6/17 or whatever it was. It's like, dude, that's like a 6/17. Like, that's
if Hulk was 6/18, like you'd be ecstatic, right?
Yeah, like that's a huge card, and it's like the power creep's ridiculous that like people are making fun of a 6/17.
True.
It's wild, dude. This card is gonna, like, okay. I don't want to be an idiot and say he's gonna get nerfed like 2 days after, but like if he was a 6/0, he would still be OP as shit. Like, well, they can't make him a 6/0 because Mr. Negative.
Oh my god! Don't get me excited like that. Oh my god!
But I mean, would negative decks even benefit from him? Because you don't put huge things in negative decks because they're all zeros, right? So I guess they could make him a 6/0.
Once you negative, then they have power. But you're right; it wouldn't be that big of a blob for sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, like my point being is they can just make him a 6/0 and it wouldn't change anything. He's still insane.
Yeah.
Like if he's 40 power or 36, it doesn't matter.
The highest I've gotten him is 70. That was the highest.
How the hell did you do that?
I definitely had some 50 balls. So I was playing like a Darkhawk player, of course. Oh, and he was just giving me like just Black Widow, but I already had Blob in hand, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold this Black Widow.
That's great.
So I held it till the end. I got a Prof X down on a lane, and you know, I just passed my turn and 70 pound Blob.
That's wild.
It was awesome.
So like the one thing too, second hitter crushed it on a couple things. One, his animation is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it and I laugh every time. He's just absorbing all the cards. I don't know if he's bugged, but like you can't really click on him. Maybe that's a bug. But like you kind of click, like if you have, this is one other cool thing that I think is a bug, but I think it's so cool and I hope they leave it, is that when he absorbs, you know, cards, he like kind of absorbs the effects. It's almost like a black hole, like he spits them out around him. Yeah. So like if you have crackle effects on the cards that he absorbs, he just has like this halo of crackle around him of the cards he absorbed.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sweet actually.
I thought that was like a fart cloud, you know, like he's farting. That's because it's kind of like a cloudy animation, right? So I thought he was like, you know, just tooting, you know. I thought he was passing gas and.
Oh my god! No, once he's down, once he's on the board and he's down, the Kirby crackle from the cards that he absorbed, it goes around him.
Oh yeah, he gets all kind of stuff. It's all, you know, every game I feel like it's different, you know, like
because it depends on the cards in your deck that you put in your deck that have Kirby crackle.
Oh, okay.
So like if you have a rainbow crackle and he absorbs it, he's gonna shoot that out. If you have a rainbow, or if you have like a green and a red, he'll absorb that and put it. Okay, so it's whatever cards he absorbs, he gets those effects. And I think that's maybe a bug, but it's really cool, I think.
One if you want to talk bugs, I mean, you know, look, this is the Filthy Casual podcast. I thought this was really funny. Okay, let me ask you, kid. I don't know if you've seen this yet. What do you think happens when Rogue hits Blob?
So I wanted to talk about this, the different effects. It's not, so when Rogue hits Blob, she steals everything. Yeah. And then she'll absorb cards.
And the game crashes.
The game crashes?
So yeah, it's happened to me once. I was playing we're talking about Shaw. I played the one Shaw guy. I mean, I dummied him, but it was turn 6 and he passed Prio. I played Blob. My Blob got to like 42, and he played Rogue, and my game shut down. And then I relogged back in, and the Rogue was at 17 power. So it absorbed his deck. Yeah. So, which is crazy because, you know, that's an on-reveal effect. So that's obviously a bug, right? Like, you know.
No. So let's go to the text. That's a lot of people have been saying this, and like I read the text. I thought this too at first, and I had to read. There's a couple interactions. We'll talk about Sauron too. That's one to know. So Rogue is let's do a Sweet Jim Lee variant. On reveal, steal the text from an enemy ongoing card here. So it doesn't steal only the ongoing ability. It steals the entire text. It Iron Lads it.
Okay.
So if this steals the blob's text, it's going to steal the on reveal and the ongoing.
Okay, so it's not steal the ongoing ability. It's just steal the text. So it gets everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
So if you take an Electro, then you still get the ramp. You still get the +1. Okay, I've never seen it on Electro, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that either. Like I thought, it just stole the ongoing ability because that's basically what they do, right? There's not a lot of cards that have on reveal and RIP Soulstone. We won't get into that this podcast.
No, Thanos is good now. We're happy about Thanos now. Yeah.
They're gonna nerf.
I did lose 4 cubes today to Subterranea. My Mind Stone took 2. Subterranea has always been my least favorite location in the game too. I'm not even a Thanos player like that. I hate Subterranea. I am a combo deck player, and I absolutely hate that location with passion.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then someone videoed on Twitter. They showed that they drew all 5 rocks in a row. And they're like, what the hell are the chances of it? And someone did the math, and it was like astronomical. Like the chance was like 1 in a million, basically, like ridiculous.
Yeah, all 5 is insane.
But yeah, so Rogue, that's one interaction. Rogue will steal the entire blob's, everything, and then Rogue will do the on reveal and absorb the deck herself.
Yeah.
Sauron is another one too.
Okay, how does Sauron do?
Sauron says remove the abilities from all ongoing cards in your hand and deck. So this removes the on reveal of the blob as well. It only makes him a 6/4.
Okay,
it does not only remove his ongoing.
Okay, remove the abilities. Okay, so it's just all of his abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it removes the on reveal and the ongoing abilities. So, but it only affects ongoing cards, right? So, yeah. Which is good. And I think one that I haven't seen, but I want to assume is Enchantress. So Enchantress says remove the abilities from all ongoing cards here. Now, I don't think this would, even though it says that, I don't think that it would make Blob a 6/4. I don't think it would take away the power. No. It would just get rid of the ongoing because the on reveal had already gone off.
Yeah, and it gains that power, right? So it says that in the Blob text, and gain its total power.
Yeah.
So it already has the power at that point. All it does is make it so you can move the blob, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Enchantress, even though it says abilities like Sauron does, I don't think it would get rid of the power.
Because it says gain the power, then now Shadow King works on it, right? And it does go to 6/4. So
yeah, and Shadow King will make it a 6/4.
Yeah.
And Shang-Chi will
own him.
Almost always kill it. And if it doesn't, what are you doing playing blob in your deck? Oh yeah, the other thing that I love about the blob too is just the pure YOLO-ness of it. Now I've seen people try and do math and stuff. I never even try. No. It's way more fun for me to just be like throw them down and just see what happens and pray.
This is why I play Infinite in my deck. Like I'm not doing the math. I'm winning the math. And they don't know I'm playing Infinite. Nobody's playing Infinite, so. That's 20 power, So I just look in my hand. Do I have an Infinite in my hand? And if the answer is no, then that's a snap.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fun to just see him go and just, whatever. He just takes whatever absorbs him and is what it is, and you just hope that it's enough. And it almost always is. Mm-hmm. But he's definitely been a really fun card. I've had a lot of fun with him, and he's good. Yeah.
He's really fun, really good. Definitely counterable for sure. Like, I mean, you went through it. Shang-Chi, Shadow King, you pass Prio. Even just get Prio, play Eliath, like that works too.
Yeah.
So there are ways to counter him, but if he's just getting off, he's probably just winning you the game. Like, there's nothing in the game that can match his power. Right? It's just crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think, do you think he's worth picking up?
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Yeah, I think for sure in the spotlights, if you don't have any other ones, if you don't have Ravonna or Tribunal, if you're missing at least one of those, I think easily you roll for Blob.
Yeah.
To spend 6,000 tokens on him, I would say no.
No,
Not
it's
right
a
now.
really good. I mean, we've been hyping it for weeks. We talk about spotlights almost every week. It's an awesome week to do spotlights. Ravona's in there. The Living Tribunal's in there. I mean, shit. I mean, you might even get a random card. Like, just this is a roll. This is a roll week. You know, roll for Blob, and rock and roll.
Yeah. So Blob's been awesome. I love him. So let's talk about your deck. No big deal. You call it the Chonky Thanos deck.
All right, so this deck right here, yeah, it's just Chunk. You know, he's the Chunk, the Blob. I made this deck like minute 10 of the Blob count. You know, Blob came out at 2 o'clock, 2:30. I fired up. I didn't look at anything. I just made this deck. So I've been messing around with stuff a little bit, but I went from rank 11,000 to 3,000 on the infinite ladder with this deck. I played so many games, probably like 100 games with this thing, like just on that grind, you know. I was having so much fun. And I wanted to play with Hela, I wanted to play with Ramp, and I'm like, well, Thanos makes the most sense in theory. Let's start with that, and it's too much fun and it's too good, and I couldn't stop. I still can't stop. I can't wait to get back to.
I remember that this was all in one day, by the way. He did this like climb in one day. He just kept playing.
Yeah.
And my phone just kept getting blown up with screenshots of everything. I don't know if I was working or something because I couldn't play the block. And I was getting so jealous. I was getting so much FOMO. I was like, damn, I haven't even rolled. I haven't even rolled my spotlights yet. He just kept sending me pictures. I'm like, fuck, this is so cool. Yeah. These like 50 power blobs.
So he's absolutely nuts. But you know, this deck is in no way, I think, optimal. But it works really well, and I've messed around a bit with it. And look, man, if you want to get to even top 2K infinite, which I did get to, you know, you could play this deck. So
why don't you say the deck?
So we got Nico, Minaru, you know, classic Thanos card, Psylocke, Jeff, Lockjaw, Miss Marvel, Iron Lad, and then at the 5 cost we got Professor X, Vision, Red Skull, big numbers, and then we got Blob, Thanos, Infinite. So, you know, the deck's obviously just a standard. You're trying to scam out 5, but you do have the option to scam out 4 with Miss Marvel and Iron Lad. Nobody's playing Miss Marvel in their Blob deck, but a lot of people are playing Professor X in their Blob deck, or they're just playing Professor X. So nobody can deal with your Miss Marvel. They play Prof X. You just throw 5 power in there. You got a Jeff, like you just beat their Prof X. So nobody's playing for the Prof X lane, I'm finding. Vision helps a lot with that too. If you get Vision out of a Lockjaw, move them before the Prof X, whatever. A lot of plays there. And then, you know, the Lockjaw just helps you cycle through everything. So, you know, if you get the Blob, then, you know, you're only playing in one other lane for the rest of the game. So, you know, you still should be okay. As long as they don't play Shang-Chi or something like that. So. But you know, most of the time you don't get the Blob, though, you know. So, and a lot of time the Blob's in your hand anyway, so you know you're not going to pull it out of Lockjaw. And you obviously love to see, like, Prof X out of Lockjaw, or Miss Marvel out of Lockjaw, Vision out of Lockjaw is awesome. Even Red Skull sometimes great. You pull a Red Skull, and then, like, say turn 4 you play a Stone into Lockjaw, turn 5 just put a Prof X on the Red Skull. And it's just, that lane's just one, because they can't fill it up in time for the Red Skull to, you know, give off his buff to the enemy. And you auto win against Cerebro with Red Skull, so that's always fun too. But yeah. Recently, the last couple hours I've been messing with Okoye as a replacement for Nico, because I'm finding you don't actually want the draw 2 sometimes, because that's just less blob. And which is like crazy, right? Because the draw 2 is just a nut in every other deck. But I'm actually like it's losing me some games, so I'm trying out Okoye there. It's pretty good so far, and I'm trying Arrow over Red Skull right now, which feels like really good. Like Arrow actually feels like kind of a sick card right now. And I've seen people play Legion in 5 as well. I think Legion, I've lost to a Legion. This guy Legion of Bar Sinister and just owned me. And so shout out to that guy. But yeah, awesome deck. And, you know, lock down a lane, blob the other lane, easy win.
Yeah, it looks good. And yeah, I was going to ask you about like replacements. You kind of went over a few. Nico, which Lambie will go over his list. He doesn't run Nico in his list.
Yeah.
And says it, you know, it doesn't make sense. You know, so Okoye is a good replacement for Nico.
He's smarter than me, so I'd say just go ahead and listen to him. I've already taken Nico out of my list. Yeah. But it took me longer to get to that conclusion.
Yeah, Nico's usually pretty good in Thanos, though, but maybe with Blob, it's kind of counterintuitive, but it is still, a decent card once in a while. But
one thing I will say that she's awesome for
in this
is
deck,
she helps you fight for priority, and a lot of time you end up where you're playing against another, Thanos lockdown, and if you don't have prio, like I'm not playing Elias, so but even if I was playing Elias, I don't have prio. You need prio for Elias, so. Nico helps you get it because she has all those buffs. Like she's a 1 cost, but she's usually like a 1/4. So like you almost always get prio, especially when there's that hot location that gives you plus energy every turn. Like she's awesome for that. So, but I think now you could probably cut her. Like Okoye is pretty sick.
Yeah, like people I've seen. Yeah, even the number 1 player in the world at the time of when I took the screenshot this morning, he's playing Okoye in his blob. And he played a ton of, what's it called, games. So Nico can be Okoye. Jeff can be probably, if you don't have Nico or Jeff, probably Okoye, and then maybe like another big boy or something like that. I would imagine.
Well, Jeff's tricky. I feel you kind of need Jeff in a Prof X deck. I think maybe think about we'll get into high Evo build later, but maybe try the high Evo build if you don't have Jeff, because I think with Prof X you just might need the Jeff, especially with Miss Marvel. Like Miss Marvel. You'll have these locations where you can't play, like Death Domain, or just cards can't play here or whatever. You throw a Jeff in there, you miss Marvel. It's like 7 power. You got Vision. Like you're just winning all the lanes all the time. And Jeff's crazy. Jeff goes crazy in this deck. I don't think he's replaceable. Personally.
All right, so Jeff, I know Jeff's so sick.
Especially Lockjaw, like Lockjaw, move him out. Like it's just he's insane.
Yeah. If you don't have Miss Marvel or Iron Lad, you could probably tech in Shang-Chi, which I've seen.
Yeah.
You could probably play like Doc Ock or another 5-drop like that, right?
Yes. I think Shang Doc Ock together are so you could take out like Red Skull, Marvel for like.
Well, no, I'm saying if you don't have Miss Marvel or Iron Lad, then Shang-Chi, Doc Ock, people are playing those pretty good.
Yeah. And that's really good too. Yeah. Another way to lock down a lane.
Yeah, those are just good replacements in general, You could play Eliath if you want to play that way. That's fine too. But it's only 2 power, right? So your blob suffers. You'll never get a 670 blob. So that's a big issue.
Yeah, for me it is for sure. Right? Yeah. You just want to optimize and win. That's cool. But I like big blobs personally.
You need. You don't want to have blob envy. Yeah, you want to be the blob. Actually, I love the base art too. The base art's so sick. I actually love it.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Just flexing on them.
So yeah, this is no big deals list, which he's been just grinding up the infinite ladder. Maybe we'll get in the top 1,000. We'll see the filthy casual no big deal on the top 1,000 list.
I'll be in there easy.
That'd be great. But yeah, and then there's so many. So this is kind of this variation of blob Thanos list. So I'd say there's 3 main ones. There's Lockdown. There's Lockjaw, and then there's High Evo, which is not very popular, but very good. So, this is more of a kind of, you've kind of picked a hybrid Lockdown, Lockjaw, but more, I'd say this is like a Lockjaw because it has Lockjaw in it.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, that's why I like playing Infinite in here because and I like getting Prof X out of Lockjaw because it's just another, if you don't draw the Prof X, I mean, he's like your main win condition really. So just another way to get your Prof X to me is like really nice. And then hey, what if you get an Infinite? Oh no, I got a freaking 20 on turn 4. Like it's pretty nice.
Yeah. No, it's wild. So those are the 3 main ones that we'll see once we look at them. So this is no big deals, which he's been just crushing. Then there is, let's see. Okay, we'll look at Dara's version. This is like a modified version, which I think he changed a bit today too. I don't even know if he has Nico anymore. He's streaming.
He had Maximus. So. Yeah, he used to in his first build. He had Maximus.
So this is modified because I hate Maximus. So I want to play Gladiator instead. So I added Nico.
He was playing both.
Yeah, I added Nico and I got rid of Maximus.
Yeah.
And what else did I do here? Oh, I think I added Miss Marvel because I wanted the reach for Prof X, and I forget what else he was playing. But anyways, this list has Nico, Psylocke, Gladiator, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Devil Dino, Prof X, Vision, Dr. Octopus, Blob, Thanos, and Magneto. So a common theme in these, this is like kind of more of a lockdown version. These lists, they all have Professor X. Most of them have Shang-Chi, and a lot of them have Doc Ock and Magneto, or either or for control. and then blob basically. You know, I think all of them are running Psylocke, so you can cheat out a 4 or 5, and you know, basically just the plan is the same. You know, lock down one lane with Prof X and then blob the other one. You know, so
yeah, and this list is definitely more 5 focused too. I mean, you're obviously not playing Shang on 4, so that's why I'm kind of running Lad on mine, because like, oh, you could ramp to 4, you could ramp to 5, but this one's like you're playing to ramp to 5. He's got 4 options, and you don't mind slamming the Devil Dino down.
yeah,
2 lockdown options. Gladiator is good with Shang-Chi too. Like if you are gonna play Gladiator, you probably need to also play Shang-Chi just in case, just because when we're in the blob meta, you could pull like, you know, their Magneto or, you know, something like that, and it's just good to have Shang-Chi to clean up that lane if Gladiator whiffs.
yeah. He actually was playing Crossbones instead of Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot of, I've seen a few people playing Crossbones too, just because it's a chunky 4/8, right? For
Yeah,
the
big
blob.
base power. Yeah.
And then it's easier with a Thanos list to get ahead on board because you have the stones. So it's not that bad. So this is one possibility. Then there is, this is some random one. Lambie's list that I think he posted this morning, if I remember correctly. So his is Psylocke, Elsa, Jeff, Shang-Chi, Iron Lad, Blue Marvel, Devil Dinosaur, Professor X, Vision, Arrow, Blob, Thanos. So yeah, he kind of wrote a whole thing on Twitter. You know, he wrote like a bunch of paragraphs kind of explaining the deck, and you know, he really likes Elsa in here to get the extra stats. Jeff with Professor X is great. He really likes Devil Dino, even though it's a 3. You know, it's kind of a hedge against the blob, right? If you don't draw the blob, you have Devil Dino as a big boy. You know, it takes away a little bit from your blob, but you know, it's all right. Blue Marvel kind of helps in the lanes that you need help with, like can get the Professor X lane, you know, more power if you need it, and just gets all your lanes a little bit more power. It's just kind of a Thanos staple, right? Landy's like the Thanos god. Vision moves around, it's always great. You could also Elsa the Vision at some point too, right, to get 2 extra power. Arrow he's been experimenting with and having good success. So, you know, with the new Arrow rework, it's like, you know, a little bit trickier. You have to think a little bit more about what you want to do. If you have priority or not priority, it'll move 2 different things. But even just the 5/9 stats is a ridiculous stat line, regardless of the movement. So it's just a pretty good card right now, it seems like. I haven't really messed around with her too much, but
yeah, I've been playing her the last couple hours in my list. Like I said, I took out Red Skull for her, and it's really nice into the Thanos meta because they're just clogging their board. So you could almost always get either just put them down to 3, you know, 1 slot, or you know, and then they might play there too, right? So if they happen to play a card there, their lane is clogged. So you could just clog up lanes with Arrow. So and obviously she's 9 power, like you said, and I like Devil Dino in here too. I was playing it in my Tribunal list. I was messing around with some Tribunal blob, and I was playing Dino in that list, and felt really good. Like, you know, obviously it's just a standard, you know, standard Thanos card. But yeah, this deck obviously, like, his blob's gonna be a little bit smaller here, but he's playing all 3 lanes, and he's playing like, there's a lot of good Iron Lad hits, right? Your Iron Lad hits your Blue Marvel or your Devil Dino, and you know, they're 3 power cards, so they're shittier for blob, but they're really good for Iron Lad. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if it hits even one of those 2 cards, like, you know, you're laughing, right?
I think that's what his reasoning for Iron Lad in there too was, like, his Iron Lad is basically a 5-drop. You know, I think that was one of his comments as well. He's like, if you don't get the ramp, then and you have Iron Lad, that's basically a 5-drop too because of all the hits that it has. Like, it has such a high chance of getting a really good effect of one of the 5-drops. Yeah, and he's like, that's a chance if you miss your ramp, then the Iron Lad basically ramps because it's basically a 5-drop.
Yeah, yeah. I play it in mine for the same reason, but even in my list, it's like just way worse than Lambie's list. Like, there's just so many more hits in his list. Like, mine, it just whips on, like, most of the time. But
another thing with Arrow too is, like, if you, like, ramp out your blob on 5, right, and you play, then you can just Arrow on 6 with a stone or something, and then, like, you should have priority if you blob on 5. Then you can just yoink their stuff in the lane that they don't want, and then, you know, win.
Well, that's the tricky thing with Arrow now, because Arrow sometimes you want to pass prio. Like,
that's true, actually.
Yeah,
never mind.
You're right. Talking about, you move their last played card, so you move whatever they played on 5. But
That's why I'm a casual.
Yeah, what?
That's why I'm a casual.
No, it's okay. You haven't played the new era once. Yeah, it's all good. Now I was playing it with the Hella too before the Blob, but it's you know exactly what you're hitting at least, right? You literally saw the last card they played, so if you have prio, it's like you're gonna know whether to play an arrow or not because 100% you know what you're moving. Whereas before it was always a mystery, but it was always what they played that turn.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he said this is the one he's had the most success with. So I haven't played with this list, so I don't know. But Lambie's unreal. He got. Did you vote in the Conquerors thing? Did you end up doing that?
I think I voted for Lambie. I think.
Oh, you did. He won, by the way.
Oh,
did you watch that? You obviously didn't watch it.
No, I YouTubed today Marvel Snap Conquerors event and nothing came up. Like there was one where Binks's thumbnail came up, and he's like, "How I won Conquers," and it was from 4 months ago. And like there was nothing. I couldn't find a video on it, so I searched for about 5 minutes to try to find it because I just wanted to watch the grand finals. So I typed in grand finals Marvel Snap.
Oh, you can go on his Twitch VODs. His Twitch VODs will have it.
I have to dig through the Twitch. Yeah, no, that's what I didn't want to do. All this, there's so many ads on Twitch. It's crazy. Yeah.
Just watch the ads. But yeah, anyways, Lambie won.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really cool format, actually. I hope they do it like this again. Mm-hmm. And I hope they have a ton more people, actually. There's only 16. But the way they had this format, they could definitely support a crap ton more people. What they did was like they had like their own, it looked like they had their own like little internal kind of server. Everyone got on. Everyone started the same amount of snap points or whatever. And then they just said like, all right, first hour, everyone is laddering against each other, all 16 people. And then like their snap points would go up and down. And like after an hour, 4 people would be eliminated with the lowest amount of snap points. Mm-hmm. And they only played against each other. And then like after that, like then there was like 8 people. Then like 4 more people got eliminated after like another hour, half hour, or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. They laddered against each other. And then they went to the top 4 did like brackets, like a conquest format.
Oh, that's great.
That'd be sweet if you had like 60 people or 50 people and they all just ladder against each other and like every hour like you knock out like 10 or something.
Yeah, if it's possible to do a separate server like that, because I mean I know Yu-Gi-Oh does a similar thing, but there's only one server, so
it was Snap that did it, and they had access to like a bunch of variants like in the future and stuff, so people were using like wild variants that we never saw.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and so like everyone started the same amount of points. It was really cool. It was a really cool event. I saw most of it.
Do you see who he played in the finals?
He played I don't know the guy's name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right.
I don't know who it was. It wasn't Johnson. It was another guy. But yeah.
Well, either way, shout out Lambie, Thanos God, the bounce God.
Yeah, gets our Deathlock, the Deathcock variant. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is his good Thanos. He played Loki in the final, by the way.
Yeah, well, it was pre-Blob. I mean, if Blob was out, he would have played Blob for sure. So,
what was funny is one of the games, Lambie, like it was like an 8-cuber. Mm-hmm. They weren't allowed to play Blob because like they had to make their decks beforehand.
Yeah.
So he was in like an 8-cuber and he like had the game won. He was playing a Darkhawk bounce, and the person he played against, got the Blob off the raft.
Oh,
he lost.
That's dirty. That's so dirty.
Yeah,
card that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
in the format.
That's so funny.
Oh, well, he deserves to win the event.
He was so devastated. That's obviously,
the worst RNG I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, so another Blob Thanos list. We're gonna go through a bunch. There's only a couple more. This is from Desmond, who's this morning when I got this list, he's the number 1 on the ladder, like ranked number 1 in the whole world. Mm-hmm. And he played like over 100 games with this. This is what he used to climb to number 1. Mm-hmm. So this is Okoye, Psylocke, Jeff, Shang-Chi, Iron Lad, Blue Marvel, Professor X, Vision, Dr. Octopus, Eliath, Blob, Thanos. Mm-hmm. So I think everyone's like, you're kind of seeing a pattern here, right? It's almost the same, like, 15 to 20 cards, and all just jumbled together in a different order. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And then there is W, who had a Thanos list. Nico, he's playing Nico, Psylocke, Shadow King, Jeff, Super Skrull, which he said was, he's like, when there's a Thanos meta, Super Skrull just owns. So
yeah, I see people saying that, but I don't know. I don't know this time. But I mean, obviously W's smarter than me, but I've seen that. I don't know.
you sure won't be able to move Super Skrull, that's for sure. He's got Shang-Chi, Devil Dinosaur, Professor X, Vision, Doctor Octopus, Blob, Thanos. Just a little more tech options with Super Skrull and Shadow King in here.
Yeah, nobody's running the King. The King's like crazy in here. Yeah, like nobody's playing it. You can play Shang-Chi, Shadow King on the last turn. Like you just own.
Yeah, he's a 2 though. You know, it's like you get Blob envy.
Yeah, true.
I want that Magnum Blob. You know. and then this one, which I played actually a bunch today, and I was climbing a bunch. I think I only lost like 1 game. This is Emma, who is another high person who's high up on the ladder, usually like top 20, top 10 at times, and top 5 a lot of times too. This is a high Evo Blob Thanos. This list was insane for me today. This list was so good. So this is Wasp, Scorpion, Jeff, Lockjaw, Cyclops, High Evo, Thing, Spider-Woman, Abomination, Blob, Thanos, Hulk. So this is like a Lockjaw, High Evo. Basically, what you do is you're just trying to flick the shit out of everything, get your Abomination to 0, and win. No one's playing Luke Cage. The Affliction's so good. All these cards are insane. It works so well. And then especially with the time zone, you have the option of like ramping up Spider-Woman and stuff on 4. It's pretty wild. Abomination gets very low. Cyclops, just with the amount of friggin' Professor X's running around, Cyclops just wins these lanes.
Yeah, Abomination's pretty nice versus Prof X too. Like they're not going to expect it, right? So like the turn they're playing their Prof X, if you can kind of predict, which like you could just sneak in a bomb in there. Like they're not going to be ready for it. You got like a 2-power bomb, just throw them in there, like turn 4.
Yeah.
And you got.
And then you have the Lockjaw too, right? The Lockjaw, you have these big boys coming in the Lockjaw a lot of times too.
Yeah.
And I found that like. I don't remember a Lockjaw ever getting my blob out of the Lockjaw. I don't remember that ever happening to me. But let's say it does. Usually by turn 3 or 4, which is when Lockjaw, I'm actually throwing stuff in the Lockjaw lane. If it's turn 3 and I have the Wasp, then like I'm having a good game. Usually I have enough threats in my hand that it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
like, it doesn't matter if they blob.
Multiple times. I say like half the time it's a win.
Yeah.
The other half the time they might have Shang-Chi, they might have Shadow King, and it is what it is.
Yeah. This is an interesting take on the blob the blob Thanos that I haven't seen really anyone play. Clearly, Emma's playing it, but I love this list was so much fun. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, High Evo's crazy right now.
So you should try this list at some point.
I've played it. I played it for a while today. Yeah.
I was gonna say you were having too much fun with your list. So I don't know if you played it or not.
Yeah, today I've been like yesterday I played my list like only, and today I've been messing around with like other stuff.
Yeah. So this is really good. So now we want to get to a point where I want to talk about. I want to give a hot take here. All right. And it's going to be a hot take, not for the reasons that most people say it is, but just let me finish. I want Professor X to get nerfed.
Oh no!
Now I like Professor X. I don't think it's not a card that bothers me, really. Honestly, it doesn't. I know it bothers a lot of people and people hate it, and it's, the lockdown is oppressive at times, blah blah, all that stuff. I want this card nerfed because Thanos is too good right now, and Thanos is gonna catch fucking strays again because of this card. He's in every one of these damn decks except for the evil one. And it's just like you Prof X, you win one lane, then you blob the other lane, and that's it. And so I just don't want my boy Thanos catching any more strays for any of these other cards. That's why I want him nerfed.
Yeah,
not because I think he's too good. But
if you think about it in a traditional ramp setting, like you can't Electro into Prof X. Like that's just not gonna work, right? Like you have like 0 power on the board. Where are you playing your Prof X? Like you're just gonna naked throw 3 power into a lane like Jeff's out there, Miss Marvel. Like it does nothing, right? And then if you wave, you're giving your opponent an opportunity to play a 6. So like the only real way to ramp into Prof X is in the Thanos list, you know, with Psylocke and Time Stone. So like, you know, that's the best way to scam out this card. It just happens to be the most reliable, and it works great. Soul Stone, you throw under there, you reduce all their cards, like just, all kinds of cool stuff you could do with the Thanos deck, with the Prof X. So yeah, man, it's like you know, it's a match made in heaven in there. So
I know. I just don't want my boy Thanos catching any more strays. These stupid nerfs for no reason.
Yeah, hopefully they don't. Yeah, hopefully they don't do that. Like,
oh, they're going to
again. I mean, it's the Blob. Like, you know, it was nothing before the Blob came out.
What can they do with the Blob?
I don't know.
Nothing. You could take off 10 power. He's still 630.
Like, I hope they leave him. I'm having too much fun.
They'll leave him for a while.
Yeah.
Also Johnson had that that hipster destroy list with Prof X.
Oh yeah.
Remember last month? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a Korean list, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Johnson's Korean. I think.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, that checks out then.
I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, so you know, and I feel like Prof X too, like more than the other cards. Like I feel like Shadow King and Shang-Chi, you can kind of play around. Like you kind of know like if you're gonna get owned by them, right? And you can try and play around them. Eliath, I don't care what people say. You can play around Eliath. Like you know if you're gonna lose to Eliath, right? So you could kind of play around that as best you can. This is kind of the one where it's like the hardest to kind of play around. Like sometimes you just can't handle a turn 4 Prof X. Like, so it's like I feel like this is the one that's the most like the least. You need the least amount of kind of skill to get owned by.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I've never felt that way about Prof X.
Well, because you play it all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I also like last season I played Lockdown and I got the Infinite Border and I cut Prof X from that list.
Yeah.
Like you can play around it, but you have to build your deck to play around it. I guess that is an issue, right? If you have to build your deck to play around it, then that's probably an issue. He owns move and destroy like really hard, right? So
yeah. I mean, he honestly, the card doesn't bother me that much. It really doesn't. I just don't want Thanos to get nerfed again because of this card. I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I think they should hit the Blob, but you know, they already got Spider-Man out of the game. Like, you know, how many more lockdown cards are gonna hit?
I feel like such a scrub.
The last one. Like,
I feel like such a scrub. Like every card that comes out, like, oh, we gotta nerf it. You know, actually, not the other ones. Like just Werewolf, I guess, the most recent one. But I mean, what would you do to the Blob?
I would drastically reduce his power, I guess.
To a 6-0?
Like -2, maybe.
It's not gonna do anything.
Just force you to have to play big cards in your deck, you know.
I don't know. The blob's hilarious, so I love it.
There is counter, like the meta is moving very quickly right now. I gotta say, because
it's true.
My climb was like really easy. But like the last couple hours I've been playing, it's like a lot harder now. Like people are playing legit counters now. Like even just Maximus, like just Maximus is like sucks. Like you hate to get somebody playing Maximus on you. Like
maybe that's actually. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Dara maybe is a genius.
No,
actually.
And Glad. He played Gladiator and Maximus. Yeah, I know that's why he's doing it.
I think today there's 3 7s, right? They're big chonky boys.
Yeah, and he's playing Crossbones, so you secure priority, so you can always play your Crossbones, right? If you play one of those cards on 3. So, like, just there's a lot of counters. Shang-Chi, Shadow King, Gladiator, Maximus, like Eliath with priority, like a lot of ways to counter him. It's always very obvious where they're playing their Blob. Like, you know, I'm never like hiding a Blob. Like, it's not like a surprise, you know. The only surprise in my deck with the Blob is it's just always bigger than theirs, you know. So if they think their Blob's gonna win, like it just doesn't.
You got the Infinite tech. I think Revis was playing Infinite in his. I think he's one of the bigger content creators that still kept the Infinite. Yeah, I think he had the Lockjaw version. I think
it's probably really bad if you're not playing Lockjaw, and most of the top Thanos lists seem to be not playing Lockjaw, which I understand, but I love me some Lockjaw, man. He's fun.
Oh, it's fun. Lockjaw's hilarious.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's just, you know, the high rolls are the best.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so the Blob, I don't know, just a great card. We talked about Blob for 45 minutes, for Christ's sake.
I do, man. That's all I've been doing the last like 48 hours. I go to sleep. I think about blob. Like I wake up and there's blobs everywhere, man. 50 power blob, 70 power blob. Like how big can we get them?
Yeah. I will say with all this Thanos, by the way, you can play what's it called? Just junk decks. You know, junk decks just own Thanos lists because no one's playing Destroy Thanos, so the board just gets clogged.
Yeah, to your point about Destroy Thanos, that's actually a matchup I've been having a hard time with. Just Destroy Thanos, like.
Yeah,
they kill all my stones, and then they have death and null, and I don't.
Yeah,
they just, it's actually kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. Like,
there you go.
Yeah,
Destroy Thanos.
That's another one. That's like,
or just Destroy in general. Destroy in general is probably pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Against the Thanos, no, you don't think so?
Well, Prof X is really good against Destroy.
That's true, actually.
You cannot destroy under Prof X.
Friggin' Prof X again. There we go.
Yeah. So Prof X plus Blob, like that just beats Destroy for the most part, unless they can get enough power in the Prof X lane. But they're usually playing like on one lane, so they're playing their Deadpool, they're playing their Forge, and they Carnage on that lane, and you just Prof X somewhere else, and then you just Blob somewhere else, and it's GG.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for a nice off meta kind of deck, the kid cooked and was featured on Snap Judge Cast. Shout outs. Shout out Glazer. Yeah. He's going to come on this pod actually.
Yeah.
Pretty soon. So this list, Galactus Ravonna list I got, and I was getting some positive reviews. I think this list would be pretty good actually in the Thanos meta because you just clog the crap out of people. Mm-hmm. It's the Hood, Nico, Adam Warlock, Black Widow, Ravonna, Green Goblin, Sentry, Hobgoblin, Annihilus, Legion, Eliath, Galactus. This is the list. We didn't even talk about this because we weren't even infinite last week when we talked. This is a list that got me infinite from 85 to I just played this, solely. I heard people message me saying, they got infinity tickets, from Proving Grounds to, through gold, people going to infinite with this list. So it was pretty good to hear. Pretty good feedback. Just some casual Adam Warlock list that I threw together. And Ravonna being in the spotlights this week makes it pretty good. And I just wanted an excuse to play Junk Galactus, and this was a kind of a good compromise. I've been trying to do that for months, so this list seemed to work.
This deck is pretty sick. It's actually just there's a lot going on here, right? Like like I said, even against the Blob, like if you play your Galactus on 5, this is a 6 Galactus deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you're just clogging then. Yeah, but against Thanos, Thanos do not like getting clogged.
I know. Yeah, it's great.
So either way, you're going to be good against the Thanos.
So this is good because you have the what's it called, Annihilus package, Sentry, Hood, Annihilus. Mm-hmm. So you can clog that way. You play both the goblins, Green Goblin and Hobgoblin, which get reduced by Ravonna. So Green Goblin could be a 2, Hobgoblin could be a 4. Your Adam Warlock can be a 1, cost. And Black Widow becomes a 1 cost as well.
Yeah.
And when they have to play the Widow's Bite, that's them clogging themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really good. A lot of times I've played like the Hood and then Ravonna on 2, and then Demon Adam Warlock in another lane or in the Ravonna lane or whatever, and you just draw your whole deck. It's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. And then the ideal awesome scenario is that you clog one of their lanes and then you Galactus on 6 and they have no clue that you're a Galactus deck.
Yeah.
It's just insane that, the reactions you get from people, and it works so well. Yeah. But the Galactus is not the only plan here. You have Eliath, which I think is the card I would cut first. It's the card that really didn't do the most for me. A couple times, I got some wins with Eliath, but it did the least for me in this whole list. Eliath and maybe Adam Warlock, but I really liked Adam Warlock, especially when he was a 1 cost and with no Chavez. Legion, absolutely crushing it. I'm glad to see Legion in some of the Thanos lists now because this is severely underplayed. This scammed so many wins for me, especially on my climb up. There was so much She-Not. So just getting rid of Limbo, I won so many cubes. There's not too much She-Not now, but there's still people playing Magic and stuff. So there's always nice.
Yeah, there's Tribunal stuff because I think people just got their hands on Tribunal.
Yeah, it's always good for a nice
amount of Tribunal out there, and yeah, they all play Magic. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just for Magic. I mean, he wins so many. I lost 8 cubes today to Legion. Like,
Yeah, there's always room for a good Legion scam.
like I was just straight dummying the guy, and I just got baited, and he played his Legion on Bar Sinister, and I lost. So I had like a 46 power blob in the middle, and he just spam emoting me. Oh, he had one of the new emotes. I'm so jealous. They're actually sick. Like he had the Cosmo with the sunglasses. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
That'll be the easiest one to get because it's a Dan Hip album.
Oh, I only have one.
I don't think I'm ever gonna get my Hellfire Gala album filled out. I have a whole 0 cards. I was like, oh man.
Oh, it's getting greasy. I looked in the shop and half of it was the Hellfire variants in the Marvel Snap shop when I looked.
Yeah, they did a shop takeover on a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. So like they had them all, but then I don't know if they made some of them 700, I maybe would have picked some up, but they're all 1200. So I'm like, whatever. I don't need them that much.
Yeah, I think the gold is way too valuable. Like the gold is just awesome. You can have so much progression with gold in this game.
Yeah, the Dan Hip one, that's where you get the Cosmo stuff, and you get the Dan Hip Cosmo as well. Mm-hmm. So that one is one that you can eventually on the collection track get everything. Mm-hmm. And if you really want to spend gold, they're 700. They're not like, they're not 1200.
I refuse.
You don't have to. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, anyways, this deck's sick. This deck is just sick. I love it. I'm glad it came together.
You could probably like the goblins. The nice thing. I was playing like some Ravonna goblin stuff too, pre blob, and the one thing that I'm always like just my fingers on the retreat button is if they have a Nihilus, they could just turn 6 a Nihilus. Right now nobody's playing that. Like it just doesn't exist. So like you kind of get owned by turn 6 a Nihilus, right? If you've thrown a green and Hobgoblin over to their side. Like, and you could tell right away if they're playing a Nihilus deck, right? If you see the hood, like you're like, all right, well, and then you see Sentry, you're like, all right, well, I can't stay in this game. I feel like that was happening like 10 to 20% of the time when I was playing Ravonna. I was playing like Ravonna Hawk, Goblin, Dracula list. It was really fun, and like just nobody's playing that anymore.
No,
it's tough.
But the good thing
about Prop X is just tough. Like it's tough to play the Sentry, but a deck like this, you just own Thanos players with your goblins.
And the good thing about this is, this deck, the only bad matchup that I had, this was like before the blob came out, so I don't know how much. I think this is still be pretty good into the blob just because of the clog. But the only bad matchup that I had, or like 50-50 matchup, was other Nihilus decks because it's about it's a chicken match. If someone's going to play it on 5, or like there was one game where I just completely threw priority, didn't even play a card on 5. Mm-hmm. So he played cards on 5, he got priority, then we both turned 6 to Nihilus, and I won because I did that, right?
Yeah.
So I think when Selene comes out, I'll probably try cutting Eliath for Selene to see what happens.
Yeah, and if you don't like the Warlock, which I think you should. Obviously, that's the boy, and I love Adam Warlock. But you could play Viper there. If you really want to lean into it, send a Hood, send even a Nico or a Black Widow. Like just send her. Yeah,
you could. Honestly, the Warlock actually did well. He did work, man.
Yeah, no, he's awesome.
Like more than you would think. And then like even like when you put him down, even if he doesn't draw you anything, your opponents start playing suboptimally once they see him. They start throwing shit in the lane like that they didn't want to put in that lane.
Yeah, it's like they clog themselves and you don't have to.
Yeah. And then it like plays into your Galactus player, like plays in your other plays, right? Like, or like you throw them on the left 2 lanes, but then like you're sentrying, and then so they're not clogging the right lane like they're supposed to with the sentry. Yeah. So then your Nihilus just becomes 17 power. So it's like,
yeah, that's great. Keep the Warlock, man. He's the boy.
I don't know.
He's great.
Yeah, I really liked him in the deck.
Yeah. That's great.
But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of deck and
going on Glazer's channel as the Kid Galactus.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah,
that was great. That was great of him to do, and I was really pumped about that. That was cool. I'm not like I'm more of a net deck idiot. I don't know. I just want an excuse to play Galactus again with Ravonna.
Yeah, no, you've been hyping Junk Galactus, so you got to do it.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
And you got some kids to Infinite, so shout out to everyone who got that deck.
Yeah, man, that was really cool. That felt really good. I felt really good about that. That's why you need to get Twitter, bro. Your decks are way better than mine. You always cook. You're like a chef in the fucking kitchen all the time.
Man. Yeah. I probably wouldn't post. I just bring it on here. I probably wouldn't post my decks, but
No, you would.
I'll chat with the people about the stuff for sure. So yeah, I'll have to hop on Twitter just for the discussion.
Every week we should have a pool. A pool in the comments when No Big Deal is going to get Twitter.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a lot of people would have lost money already.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the February datamined cards because those are pretty sweet. Of course, I'm going to go to Drew Barry's channel with his sick infographics every time.
I don't need to pull it up. This is great.
Crushes it every time. It's great. So it's going to be the little Thanos minions schedule, the Black Order, I think they're called. Sorry, I'm not a big comic nerd. I'm sorry, everyone. They're called the Black Order. Like Thanos.
I don't know either.
Like Thanos' daughters and stuff. Like the people, like Ebony Maw and stuff. Like that.
What did it cost? What did it cost? Was it that? Oh no, that was Gamora, wasn't it? No, maybe Manta.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know. Everything.
I don't know.
The meme. It's a meme too.
Yeah. So the season pass is Black Swan. Black Swan is a 2/3 on reveal. Until the end of next turn, your 1-cost cards cost 0.
Oh, this is Havoc. This is Havoc tech right here.
Oh,
yeah.
Havoc Black Swan on turn 4 or 5.
It's all probably all going to be part of the same zoo deck,
Mm-hmm. That way you can dump everything.
You just dump your hand, yeah. And it's not going to cost anything, and you don't need the power. And Havoc just soaks that up,
Yeah, that seems like a pretty cool card. It seems like a pretty decent season pass card. Definitely, not something that looks completely busted, overpowered on first glance. Definitely something that'll, want its own little niche deck. I don't know if you just throw this in. This is probably sick in Thanos. If you could bring back the OP Thanos Lockjaw with zero cost stones.
Yeah, actually, I don't love that. Was not a fun meta. I don't love that.
but Lockjaw, you can only put one at a time now, right? Because back in that day, you could just throw 3 stones in Lockjaw and just get 3/5 drops right away. Everything would roll in Lockjaw at those times.
That might be a snap though. Like even in today's Lockjaw, if you just have Swan, Lockjaw plus a stone, like you're just looking at that on turn 2, you probably just snap in there.
Yeah,
that's so strong.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this is sick. We're getting Kyra in January, so I don't know. I don't know if Zoo's going to be a thing. I'm so skeptical on Zoo. Like what do you think? Is Zoo actually going to be a thing? Because like I said, I've been hyping up Blob. I really did think Blob was actually going to be a thing. I don't know about Zoo, man. Zoo, I'm so skeptical.
If you can get Kyra out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. There's some good cards. You could get Dazzler too, right? Just if you're filling lanes, Shanna, and then you have you're gonna have Ebony Maw. You're gonna have, I don't know. Probably honestly, no joke, Martyr in that list.
Yeah, Martyr.
It's
for
a
sure.
1. That's just a 1/4.
I don't know if Dazzler or Shanna are any good. Maybe I think Shanna is. But Dazzler, I don't know, man. She's like a 3/8.
I don't know. You're gonna have Khazar, Blue Marvel. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, maybe get some Onslaught going or something. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know. Mm-hmm. It could be a thing.
Yeah.
I think even some people were playing. I thought I saw some decks in Infinite Conquest. People get infinite borders with a zoo kind of stuff. Mm. So I think it'll be a thing. I don't think it'll be top tier, but I think it'll be a decent deck.
I'm excited to try it for sure. This is clearly just a Zoo card, right? Black Swan.
It seems like it, or Thanos too.
Yeah, Zoo and Thanos. Yeah.
These are all the children of Thanos, so I guess hopefully they all work with them. Mm-hmm. So then the next week, and then you get this sick death variant. That's going to be part of the season pass, which is pretty sweet. Nice.
Yeah,
I think people have been waiting for this one.
Yeah.
I think it's the Fiona Hesh variant. I don't know. It just looks sick. And then so the next week, Super Giant is a 1/2, so a 1-drop on reveal. All cards played this turn and next turn don't reveal until the game ends.
Oh, it's like Invisible Woman.
Yeah, for a turn and a half.
That's kind of sick, actually, because then you just don't lose to Eliath, right?
What do you mean?
Like right now, if you play Invisible Woman, you're getting cocked by Goliath if they have it, right? Like they're just snapping with Goliath.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying you have to play this like before though?
Yeah. You're not gonna play it on like 4, but if you play this on like turn 2 or something,
Well, yeah, no, because Goliath will still kill them because they're unrevealed cards.
no, but it costs 6 power.
Yeah, but until the game ends, so Goliath will kill them.
Until the game ends. Oh god, I thought it was just for the 2 turns.
No, Goliath will still get those.
Okay, never mind.
I was like, what the hell? Like, bro, Goliath. But I mean, not a lot of people are playing Goliath, so I don't know.
I interpreted that as for 2 turns.
I don't think that this card is going to be so meta breaking that everyone's gonna start playing Goliath again. I just don't see that. So I still think it'll do what you want. You might lose the occasional Goliath, but like you lose the occasional Shang-Chi as well. So
that's a really good point.
It is.
Elias not going to counter it, but to your point as well, is this just not just like a bad card? Like this just it seems bad, right?
I don't know. My monkey brain can't figure out why I would want to do this over Invisible Woman. I guess you can play unrevealed cards in multiple lanes.
Yeah, you can for sure.
Right? Yeah, no, yeah. I know you can, but I'm like, what benefit is that? I can't think of that off the top of my head. Because you haven't seen these cards at all. I looked at them once when they first came out, so like I haven't like dwelled on them. I mean, they could still be changed, right? They're just datamined cards, but yeah, it seems okay. I can't think of anything that's like, oh yeah, I really want to hide that, right?
Yeah, to me, just the first impression, yeah, like you said, I haven't seen them, but Season Pass card seems quite good, and this card seems bad to me. It's a super giant card.
Yeah, I mean, it might be nice,
but she seems kind of bad.
Yeah, it might be nice to play some like tech, some hidden tech, like if someone has like a Sentry or whatever, and you play a super giant, then you play like a Shang-Chi, or you like can fake playing a Shang-Chi and like snap, it's unrevealed, and you see an unrevealed card in a lane with like your blob or in a lane with like a big card.
Yeah,
you can start playing mind games that way. And then maybe you tech like you put a Shang-Chi and you put a Killmonger in another lane, right? And they're unrevealed, and who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, and I know there's probably some like I know there's some shenanigans you could do with like Taskmaster, right?
Yeah,
you could probably reliably Taskmaster a 6-drop card. Oh, yep. Taskmaster blob.
Oh, there you go.
Oh god, that's it. What was I thinking? Of course, the answer's right in front of us. We've been playing it all day.
And she's the 1-drop that you're gonna draw from Mind Stone.
Oh, true.
You're gonna play her on 4. You're gonna Taskmaster on 5 in whatever lane you want, and you're blobbing on 6. You're getting two 640s on your list.
I was thinking even just more ridiculous. Like, I just make a deck and I put Super Giant and Invisible Woman in it, and I'm gonna get one of them.
Oh, that's great.
And it's Blob Taskmaster. That's the new Shuri Red Skull, baby.
That's it, huh? And I've seen some people do, yeah,
much power.
I've seen some ramp blob actually too. Now that you mention it, but not enough of it that I haven't played any of it either. But yeah, okay, so yeah, we cooked one thing with that Taskmaster blob.
Oh, and what is it? Series 4?
Looks like it, yeah.
See, S4. Oh, let's go.
3,000 tokens.
I'm gonna be a menace in that week.
I can't wait.
She's gonna have 42. That's it. It's gonna be Shuri Red Skull. And just pray they don't have Shang-Chi. But look, I mean, my stuff's not revealed, so there's the Shang-Chi. It doesn't work here.
Yeah, just play armor in your Thanos.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you just throw armor down in one of the lanes. All right, the next week, Call Obsidian. This is a 4/10 with the text, "You can only play this at a location with an Infinity Stone, and an ongoing ability can't be destroyed."
Whew.
So you can either 1, play him in Thanos lists, or 2, they're introducing new locations that give you a random Infinity Stone during this season. So I forget what the locations are, but one of them is, basically you get a random Infinity Stone.
Yeah, I mean,
and so that's why they made the Mind Stone change, by the way.
You're playing this with Thanos for sure, and I mean, if you look at the spotlight, for newer players, if you haven't picked up the big bad Thanos yet, he's in this week. So if you don't have Thanos, I mean, this is a hard roll for sure. I think that sounds really sick.
Yeah,
like this sounds like a really good card. This is like if Atuma was actually good. Like, this is it.
Yeah, it seems like a sweet card. And plus, especially if you're playing Blob Thanos, like, if Blob's even a card by February, then throw him into the ground. He's just a 4/10. He's just a big, chunky boy.
No, this would be insane in Blob Thanos.
He's like the perfect Blob Thanos card.
I don't want to think of that because I know, like, that list is like, if it stays as good as it is now, it's getting wrecked by nerves by February.
Is the list still insane if they nuke Professor X?
Probably not as much, no.
What if they made him a 5/2?
Well, it's interesting, right? I don't know. I would still play it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this card seems wild. Mm-hmm. Just can't be destroyed. Now, this next card, I think you're going to be pretty excited about. Mm-hmm. Corvus Glaive. He's a 3/4 with an on reveal. Discard 2 cards from your hand to get +1 max energy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So this guy's got Hell Cow effect, and he gives you Psylocke. So it's like Hell Cow and Psylocke put into one card, basically.
No. +1 max energy.
Oh, so
it's Electro.
It's Electro, not Psylocke.
It's ramp.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So this would be the Hella Blob. This is the Hella Blob card right here.
You're just blob mind right now.
No, okay, I mean it like seriously, like, because again, you want to play, your Taskmaster, right? Oh, yeah. No, it's like a ramp. This is a blob ramp card. Yeah, no, not Hella.
Yeah. Or just any discard list. Just a discard list is pretty good too, right?
True. Yeah, get some Black Knight going.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. I love this card. Yeah, I mean, it might be like cheesy and maybe inconsistent, but like I'll be picking it up, no question, and I'll be running it.
Yeah, because like look, even it's with Stature and X-23, right, which are 2 cards that benefit from discard too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always the Black Bolt Stature list. I don't know if you're gonna play this card in a destroy list with X-23. Mm-hmm. If I'm being honest with you.
No, yeah. I mean, you could also discard X-23, but they obviously just want to put X-23 in the spotlight here. Yeah.
But just like in a standard discard list with like, Hell Cow and this, like, it might just be enough. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't need MODOK, right?
Oh yeah, this feels like a Hella card to me.
Hella too, but
yeah.
Well, then why isn't Hell Cow a Hella card then?
Well, you don't get +1 max energy with Hell Cow. and
like you're gonna YOLO.
And it costs 4.
Yeah, you're gonna YOLO for a 3/4, maybe.
Yep, 100%.
I think this could be good because like whatever, then you get +1 max energy, right? Like,
yeah,
and like
Hella list naturally plays a bunch of 6 drops, right? So like the ramp is like really nice.
Are you just playing this in Thanos list? You hopefully discard like a few stones and you play a 5-drop on turn 4. Like,
oh God, I didn't think of that. Yeah, we'll just have another Prof X scam.
Yeah, it's a Prof X scam number 2. You don't need Psylocke. If you miss on your Psylocke and your Time Stone, you just scam with Corvus.
Yeah, and it's it's got 4 power, so you could actually just play the Prof X on top of it. It gives a respectable amount of power there. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, these are all Thanos people, right? So it probably is decent in Thanos because if you get rid of a couple stones, but you have +1 max energy, it's probably pretty good. Get your blob out on 5.
Oh my God, Hella Thanos? Is that even?
It could be. I mean, there's not enough space on the board, I don't think, right?
Destroy Hella Thanos.
With Killmonger.
Yeah, now we got too many archetypes in one deck. The 12 card game.
Yeah, maybe just slam it. Who cares? All right, last card of the season here is going to be Proxima Midnight. She's a 4/6. It looks like right now, and it says when this is discarded, it jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full.
Okay, from your hand? Oh no, when it's discarded. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like
that's pretty wild.
Well, it goes with the Corvus for sure, so that's pretty.
Yeah, cool. This is. Yeah, and then obviously I was gonna say MODOK too. Like it's pretty wild.
I mean, she's a 4/6 for Blob. Like, oh yeah, just MODOK discard, right? Yeah, they did lose to Chavez, so this is like a nice buff to that list for sure.
Yeah, just throw that in. It automatically jumps to your lowest power location.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's pretty.
I'm thinking hella with both of these though. Like, seems really interesting.
Yeah. Can you target this? You can't target it
No.
too well, right? Like maybe with blade sometimes, but like it's really not going to ever be low enough for calling wing most of the time, and it's really not going to be high enough for Lady Sif most of the time too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Both of these are in the same list because Corvus is not targeted discard, right? So
Yeah.
I think you would run him as your only not targeted discard. Like, you're not also playing Hellcow and Corvus, right? It's just him.
Yeah.
If he whiffs, you retreat. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, seems really interesting.
Yeah, this seems like a good card. If you can, we'll see how reliable it is to discard. But yeah, if just this card's just in your hand, right, and you Modok, it's kind of
to your
crazy.
Modok point. I think Proxima is just a sick card. Like, I think that's just a really good card. I think.
Yeah, then Modok just becomes a 5/14 for no reason, right?
Yeah, it's like a Wolverine in discard. It's just simple.
Yeah, and you can set it up, right? Like, you can choose which lane you want to be your lowest power. Once you get your Modok in your hand, you know where it's gonna go, right?
Yeah, you can just try to stay within 6, right? Like, say you and your opponent are fighting for a lane. If you could get it so that you're behind by less than 6 or 6, like, that's unreal, right?
Yeah, it seems like a cool card for discard. So like, it looks like discard and Thanos and maybe Zoo get some cards here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool that discard gets a little bit of love, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so we'll see.
Interesting discard cards, like, the last one is, the last one just seems like just really good, like, for sure going to be really good. We'll see if they change that in the data mines going up to it, but that seems like insane in the Modok discard.
I mean, I hope they don't, because the Modok discard, I'm sorry, is not a good list.
No, it got owned by the Chavez change. Like, Chavez was an absolute rock star, probably like her highest impact deck, and she was in a lot of decks. But she had the most impact in that one. Just the Dracula interaction is crazy. And you want Modok by 5 every time. So, like, she helped.
Like, I don't mind. I want the discard players to be happy. Like, I don't mind them having a good list. Like, it'd be nice if it was competitive.
Yeah, I felt healthy when discard list was good, like the Modok discard list, because it was never like so overbearing where it was everywhere and you couldn't beat it. Like, it was just always like just a good solid deck that could put up a good amount of power, and has some playability where where are they going to put their swarms? Are they going to play the Apocalypse or are they going to play the Chavez? So at least you have some where you could outplay your opponent even though you're doing the same thing every game. So
yeah, and at least with this, like, at least they have some snap conditions now too, right? Because like before it was so linear, like you just knew you knew exactly, you could count all their power and you know exactly what they would have in each lane. You just have to count, like, oh, if they had the swarm here, if they have the swarm here, if they play the Chavez here, which you could quite easily do. Now it's going to be like, oh, they can snap on 3, and it's like, oh, do they have Proxima in their hand? Like, is that why they're snapping, right? Like, do they or do they not have that? Because Modok comes down, they snap before the Modok comes down. You don't know if that extra 6 power is going to be on the board, right? And then you're in for turn 6.
Yeah.
So it gives them a little bit more snap equity, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about these cards?
I like them a lot. I mean, the cool thing is they don't seem super broken. Like, I think Call Obsidian looks crazy to me. I mean, God, just think about a Tuma Crossbones. Like, just think about those cards and then compare them to Call Obsidian.
The like, classic, no big deal. Compare the cards.
Well, that's how I look at cards. Right? Just they're good. Like, I'm thinking, like, Crossbones can be kind of hard to play sometimes. Like, if you're not winning a lane and it's turn 4, and then if you can't play Crossbones on 4, like, you're done. Like, he bricks and that's it. He's done for the game. He has to come down on 4. Like, like, you don't want to be playing turn 5 Crossbones. Like, it's horrible. So. This guy is just a way easier condition, and he's 2 more power. Like, you're gonna have a stone on the board by turn 4. Like, so, and if you ramp into it, then you play Time Stone. So you're just always gonna be able to play Call Obsidian, and he's a freaking 4/10. Sentry's a 4/10, but he puts a -10 on your board. This guy doesn't do that. He's just a 4. Oh my God! Ongoing can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
What?
You didn't hear me say that?
I didn't see that part. Oh, they gotta get rid of that. Okay, I'm calling it now. They have to eliminate that line of the text. This is like super broken if they leave that in there. I think this is the card of the month. Can't be destroyed. You can't Shadow King it. It's at 10 base power.
You can't destroy it either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no counter to it.
The counter is not drawing your stones.
Oh my god. Counter is hope that they blob and absorb it and like Shang-Chi the blob. Like that, because blob could be destroyed, you know. So.
Yeah. Can't be moved.
This is like he doesn't get the abilities to.
Man, like you use time stone on 2 and you throw this guy back on 3.
That's what I'm saying.
You just have a 4/10 on turn 3 is pretty insane.
This is broken. This card's broken. Like I'm just saying, you know, this is our first reaction. This card is. I'm not trolling. Like I'm not trolling. This is a legit broken card.
So you think we need to eliminate the can't be destroyed text?
It'd be a good place to start. It's still really good. Even without that. They can start there.
Yeah. It does seem like a really good card.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. You remember what, you know, they just did the thing with the Black Knight, but think about how much you have to do to get the Ebony Blade down. Like this is.
Yeah.
I have a stone. Look, if you're not drawing any stones by 4, you're probably retreating anyway in a Thanos game. Like
it's so bad. It's so bad if you don't draw
horrible.
stones.
So like those, you're not even playing those games anyway. It doesn't matter what you have in your.
I had a couple games today where like I only drawed Power Stone by turn 4. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, come on, it's so tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Power Stone was sick on that hot location when you get the +1 energy. And it's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
33 on turn 1, baby.
That's it.
And if it didn't appear on the first location, just always play it mid. Then you know that hot location's coming. but yeah, I think Black Swan seems really cool. Super Giant could be a very cheesy. Someone's gonna come up with some bullshit for Super Giant that is gonna be really cheesy. I don't know if it'll be good. Could be, you know, Wong Hazmat. You know, when the stars align, it's great. Or maybe it's actually good. I don't know. But at first glance, it seems kind of bad to me. Call Obsidian, broken card. Like, that card's insane. And, like, legit broken. Corvus and Proxima. Proxima seems awesome for MODOK. And Corvus seems really interesting for Hela. So, I actually love it. I love it. This is really, really cool. I love these.
Black Swan could be cool on Hitmonkey decks, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. And if we ever do get Firestar into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. If we get Firestar, Black Swan's broken.
Yeah, I think, but that's probably, you should probably design with that card in mind, right? Because Firestar was supposed to come out like this week.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they designed Black Swan, you know, come after Firestar.
You just play Thanos Firestar list and you just like zoo a bunch of 1-drops on turn 5 and they all get Firestar's ability. They all get +3 or whatever the hell it was. Mm-hmm. That'd be insanity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it'd be ridiculous. You do like a Squirrel Girl, you know, like.
Yeah, what you would do is like you would put Kyera on 3, Black Swan on 4, Dump on 5, and Firestar on 6, and it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And all your 1-drops can't die.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it seems like a pretty cool season. You know, in the next couple weeks we'll go over the January season one more time just to get a refresher. But yeah, yeah, I like it. You want to go over spotlights real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Like we said, this week's Blob Tribunal Ravona. You know, we were hyping up the Firestar week, you know, for weeks now on this pod, and they took that away. So I think this is the Firestar week. You know, you go for it. You go for it. You know, Selene seems cool. Havoc seems interesting, but maybe not good. But maybe just ridiculous. We don't know. But this is the week. You know, we've been saving our keys for December. It's time, baby. It's time to roll. Let's go. Let's get.
Yeah, the Blob's good. Ravona's way better with her buff. You know, when she slept on. There's a whole huge Blob meta right now, but like, she's a good card. And then if Tribunals, if you like this kind of playstyle, you know, Living Tribunal is a decent deck right now. You know, there's not a lot of people playing Goliath or playing too many counters, and especially, you know, there's I've seen a lot of lists for Blob Tribunal, which are giving people a lot of good success as well. Yeah. You know, so it's a good deck.
Well, you're talking about the Prof X nerf. This card owns Prof X, like harder than any other card in the game. No card
Yeah.
beats Prof X more than the Living Tribunal. I mean, there's nothing the Prof X player can do against the Living Tribunal. So
Yeah.
and they're playing 3 power. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sick.
And with Blob, yeah, if you can ramp it out, it's pretty wild. So yeah, I think this is a good week to roll Spotlight caches. I would not spend 6,000 on the Blob personally right now. I would just wait. He's a fun card, but like I don't know, 6,000 is a lot, man, for like any card. Like I almost like can never recommend it.
I don't know, man.
Not 6K, man. I don't think. For
My
me, I
only
don't think
worry
6K.
with Blob is that he is going to get nerfed, and this is like with Annihilus. I can almost confidently say just spend the 6K because just the effect's so cool. Like
Yeah.
and I don't even if they nerf him, I don't think the effect's going to change. Like it's just a really cool, unique effect that only he does. Yeah. Blob is a power play, so he puts up big number. So if big number go down and is not big number, then he might just not be playable, and he might just be a dead card, and you just spent 6K. So he's dangerous nerf candidate for sure. Like he's not like Annihilus, where it's just they're not just gonna eliminate the text on Annihilus,
Yeah, Annihilus is fine. I don't think Annihilus is broken at all.
No,
I think
he's not
fine.
broken.
I know.
If he was, like, say he was like a 5/9 instead.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Like he was a 5/9. You're not gonna go, oh well, they nerfed him to a 5/7. Then who cares? He's still Annihilus, right? You're not having regret on your 6K. Blob, you definitely like you got Blob right now. You're gonna have a blast. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, so much fun and good too. Good and fun.
That's why. Yeah, I would probably it's a good week to roll. Let's look at next week. We have Havoc, Nico, and Legion. So, oh god, this is another probably good week to roll. I mean, if you want, so Havoc's recently changed, right? Havoc, I think, is a 2. Is it a 2/1 now?
I thought. Oh, okay. I thought maybe his effect went up.
No. Yeah, he was a 2/1, but he's now a 2/0. Okay, yeah.
But the effect goes up, right? The effect.
Yeah, he's a 2/0, and then I'll read his text. He's a 2/0. After each turn, you lose 1 max energy, and this gains +4 power. Yeah. So before it was gain +3 power, now it's gain +4 power.
Yeah, and it was a 2/1, but it was +3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And it is how I said it before. It's basically like, oh boy, sorry, I misclicked.
Yeah, it's okay.
There we are. We're back. We're back. So it is like I said. But so if you play Havoc on turn 2. You lose 1 max energy every turn. You're stuck with two energy the entire game. So he's never a card that you play on 2.
Yeah.
He'll be a 2/20 or whatever the hell the math is, but that's only 1 lane. So he's a card that is when he was a 2/1 +3, I wasn't convinced. I thought he was probably not going to be that good. But as a 2/0 +4 is very interesting, especially if there's like zoo-like decks and stuff, because playing him on 5, so you get 5 energy for the last turn instead of 6. If you're just playing a dump deck, like, he's going to be a 2/8.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you run a zoo,
that's pretty good.
Maybe you're cutting Blue Marvel, but you stop at Khazar, and if you don't have Khazar in hand, you might even be able to just play him on 3. Kaira's a 3. You play, we got Black Swan coming out. So you play her, and you could fill up your board with a bunch of 1s easily.
Yeah.
And then the Havoc's just going to be so let's say you play him on 3, then he goes so end of 3.
If you play him on 3, you have 3 mana the rest of the game.
So he's a 2/16 if you play him on 3.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
But then you only have 3 energy the rest of the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're playing like some Kaira Zoo deck, right? And you got Black Swan. And you're just your cards cost 0. It doesn't matter, and you don't have enough cards to play anyway.
Oh, you play Black Swan on 5, and then you have a bunch of 0s with Hit Monkey on turn 6.
There you go.
And a 2/16.
I like that.
I mean, I think I don't think he's bad now. Like before, I thought he was like not that great. Like +3 is just not. I don't think worth losing a whole energy. Personally, I don't think that was good. +4 each turn, like a 2/8 to get like 5 energy on the last turn. If you're playing the type of deck, like So you don't play a 6-drop, you play a 5-drop, or you play, whatever. Not that bad.
It's an interesting idea, but it kind of reminds me of Stegron a bit. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like, are we realistically going to play this card at all? Like, in the current state of Marvel Snap, I don't think you can play this card. Like, when we get more support, like I said, Kyra, Black Swan, like, Zoo becomes a thing. Or like you said, I don't know, some deck comes out where, you're playing him and then you're playing a 5-drop, but is that really good? Like, an extra 4 power and a 5-drop? Like, is that worth... Isn't this a 6... Oh, it's a Series 4 card, so...
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to spend 3k tokens on this card, to be honest.
I will.
Yeah.
I will, because I have a bunch of tokens, and, like, I already have Legion and Nico, so I'm not going to roll.
Yeah, I say
it's a cool Nico variant.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wouldn't roll spotlights for him. I would roll spotlights for Nico and Legion. Mm-hmm. Nico, one of the best cards in the game right now. Mm-hmm. Legion... always a great card, but Legion's Series 4 too, so you can buy tokens,
you
right?
You can buy Legion, yeah.
I mean, Nico's probably one of the only cards in the game too that's like actually worth 6,000 tokens.
Yeah, she is. I think
so versatile. Mm-hmm. It's like if you have extra tokens, this is a week where you can just like maybe skip and just buy the cards with tokens as they come. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a bunch of extra spotlights, I would roll for Nico, but I don't think wasting a spotlight cash on Havoc is worth it right now, unless who knows? It'll be weird to see. You're right. Yeah. This meta doesn't seem like it.
It seems like a skip to me, but
especially with just the blob, how much impact this card is having right now. Mm-hmm. It just seems crazy. Just so much power.
Yeah.
Like cards are getting so much power. It's getting wild. You're getting a fucking 70 power blob. Like yeah. This guy's gonna get +4. Like who cares,
yeah,
right?
True. Yeah. Yeah, you hope but in the other 2 lanes. Yeah,
I mean, once the other cards come out, like maybe Kyra, maybe other ones we're missing, Black Swan, these kind of dump cards, and maybe there's a monkey dump list that ends up being pretty damn good, Mm-hmm. So I think he has potential to be, in lists. I don't think he's going to be complete garbage, but I think he's going to be very niche.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like as a spotlight cash. Yeah. The only way you even think about pushing the chest button and using your keys is if you don't have Nico. If you do have Nico, then Havoc's 3k, Legion's 3k, wait and see. Like I don't think you spend anything here. I mean you got 1 million tokens saved up, you can do whatever, obviously, but I'm saying if your tokens are limited, I think this is a full skip week. Unless you don't have Nico, then you should maybe think about using spotlight keys. Because Nico's actually that good, and she's like just not replaceable.
Yeah, she's really really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this Havoc's an odd one, I think, but we'll see.
I don't think he's going to do anything the week he comes out. That's my prediction.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. And this week seems the next week, December 26th. This seems like a banger week, man. Mm-hmm. This is Celine, Iron Lad, Black Knight. Black Knight recently buffed. A card I really want and really want to play with. I've seen a lot of people play Black Knight lists. I mean, there's Blob meta right now, but before Blob came out, there was a ton of really good, legit, look like a lot of fun Black Knight lists. Mm-hmm. I think he's a pretty decent card with a pretty decent, set of lists and pretty unique as well. Iron Lad is an unreal card, right? Just so versatile. Probably one of the best 4-drops in the game, if not the best. One up there for sure.
S tier card.
Even one of the best cards in the game, He's a really good card. Mm-hmm. And, there's always the, what can I replace Iron Lad with? It's really hard to do. Like we were talking about earlier.
Vortex if he whiffs.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier in the pod too. Like, even in Lambie's Thanos list, it's like, why does he play Iron Lad? Well, because if you miss on your ramp, you just play him on 4 and he basically hits, a 5-drop and becomes a 5-drop. Like,
yeah. Or he hits great. Or he hits Soulstone and like you're not really that upset about that. Like Soulstone's pretty good effect, like, Yeah. Maybe ends up being like a 4/9 if he hits Soulstone or something, Like that's pretty freaking good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Celine just seems like a really cool card. 1 -1, and then I think makes the lowest power card in each player's hand -3 power. Just seems like a pretty cool card to play with an Nihilus or in any one of those the junk type decks too. You play Celine and then Black Widow, or sorry, Black Widow and then Celine on turn 3, they're getting a 0 -4 Widow's Bite.
Yeah,
they have to play.
This is like an economics cash week. You know, this is like, you could look at all the 3 of these cards and you could say, you know, maybe Lad's kind of situational. Like I hear people say, "Oh, it always misses. I play it always misses." Okay, sure, right? And maybe Black Knight's not a great deck, and maybe Celine won't be like that great. But all 3 of these cards are Series 5, and you know, they just buff Black Knight. Like, you know, Iron Lad's in a lot of top lists, but whether the cards are good or not, like these are 3 Series 5 cards. Like, I think this is a for sure use your Spotlight Keys list. It's a week. This is not do not spend 6K on any of these cards. Maybe Lad, but you know, really, why spend 6K when you could just spend a key and get 6K value for your key? Like, this is a unreal value. If you're saving your keys, you know, skip the week before, save your keys, and just roll this week. Get multiple cards. I mean, if Celine's the only card you don't have, then you could probably think about skipping, right? Like if you already have Lad and Black Knight. Are you rolling, Kid, if you have Lad and Black Knight?
If I have Lad and Black Knight,
because some people do, right? Some people have Black Knight.
For me, I would, because I really want to play with Celine.
Yeah, me too.
But I wouldn't recommend it, I would say. Like personally, for me, because I really want to play Celine, I want to put her in my Ravonna Galactus deck. I want to play with her with it, Junk and Annihilus stuff. I just like those archetypes. They're a lot of fun to me. And this is the card I was the most excited for coming into this month. You know, so this is the one I really wanted. So as a personal, you know, if I only had Celine, or I only didn't have Celine, I would. But I wouldn't recommend that as a good idea. A smart idea, a smart use of resources.
Yeah.
It's not.
I see what you're saying, and yeah, I agree with what you're saying for sure.
It's not a smart use of resources, but I don't have Black Knight as well. So for me, this is an easy, I'm rolling.
Yeah.
The Spotlight caches.
Just keep in mind, like, these are, it's 3 Series 5 cards, and you're probably never going to spend 6K on these cards, like, at all. So, like they're just not, like, game breaking enough. Like, you could argue Blob, you could spend 6K. Like, he's, like, breaking the game right now, you know? Like, I don't know if any of these cards will. And so, like, it's just a good time to actually use your keys, you know?
And they're 3 cards with seemingly pretty unique effects. Like Black Knight, I can't play like Black Knight quote unquote decks, right? Like you need this card. It's like a whole different archetype. Like it's a whole different way of playing. Like you unlock playing like Ghost Rider and stuff like that in like random like mid range decks, which is pretty sweet. It's pretty awesome. You know, Iron Lad is like irreplaceable effect.
Yeah, now that I saw the February cards, I'm even more excited for Black Knight, because that's going to be that 3rd card there that discards 2 and gives you +1 energy. Like, that's going to be an interesting. A lot of people are playing hella Black Knight right now, so you throw that card in there too, and you know the list could get even spicier. Yeah,
and then Celine's a unique effect too, right? Like you're using like Clog and you can just screw them over, right?
Yeah, just
people are playing Iron Man. You just give their Iron Man.
Like another reliable target for Annihilus too is like pretty awesome, right? Like.
Yeah,
people are just playing Hood Sentry and Annihilus. Like, what if you just add Celine? Like, your Annihilus is like gets even like exponentially more value. Like, if you include the clogging potential, like, it's pretty amazing. Like, honestly,
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Celine as well. Like, that's gonna be a fun week.
Yeah, so this week is for sure. You know, I probably won't roll on the Havoc week. I'll probably just buy Havoc for 3,000 tokens, which. I wouldn't recommend doing until you actually see people play them. Probably wait a week.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait for Havoc, because he'll pop up in the shop later, like, you know, and if I want to cop him, then I'll do it. But I'm not.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one thing we forgot to mention actually for Havoc is the old Havoc scam. You know, the instant win, if you will.
Yeah.
Is if you play Havoc on 2 and you have Viper in hand and you Viper him over on 3. It's going to be ridiculous to pull off. You know, then your opponent just loses because they're going to have like 3 energy the rest of the game.
Yeah, there's no Exodia in Marvel Snap right now. And, you know, for people who don't know, if you don't play Yu-Gi-Oh!, like, if you draw the 5 pieces of Exodia, the game just ends. That's it. You know, there's no, you know, back and forth. You know, in Marvel Snap, there's power. Who has more power? The game ends. You win. That's it. That Viper Havoc, that's it. GG. Exodia.
Yeah. Unless you're playing Destroy, they have Carnage.
Oh, no.
Carnage and Havoc up, baby.
Oh, that'd be crazy if they had Carnage. They like
Or-
rope you on the snap, like you snap, right? Because obviously you got Viper Havoc, you're snapping, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be smart to be as a destroy player to like wait a couple turns, maybe. Like I don't know, no, maybe not, maybe not. I think you probably snap right away because then they would think you top decked to the Carnage or something. If you waited, I think you would have to just insta snap back.
But anyways, I can't wait to see those highlights of people just screwing over other people.
I am not excited because I'm gonna get a Havoc tossed on my side and be tilted out of my mind.
I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna have to respect it. It's so hard to do, you know. Like you have to have those two exact cards. Like it's not easy to pull off, but whatever. I don't think it's a good enough card that like it's not gonna be everywhere where people are gonna be doing that all the time.
Oh my god, that's why they put Nico in this. That's what you know. The Glenn, he knows. Their design, they know what they're doing here. Nico's a draw 2. You know, Crystal's a draw 1. Yeah, Adam Warlock is a draw 1. We're just drawing all these cards. We're getting to our Viper and our Havoc, and we're shipping it right over.
Oh god.
I don't know, man.
And then you're legioning bar with no name, so they lose.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. So those are the spotlights coming up. They seem pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this week seems pretty good to roll if you like the cards. Next week seems like a skip with the spotlight caches. Probably don't waste your resources, in our stupid opinion. And then December 26th seems like a great week just to roll spotlight caches, especially with the Black Knight buff.
For sure.
Yeah, awesome. And all 3 Series 5 cards, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no big deal. What do you think, man? What do you gotta say to the people?
Oh man, we're blobbing. It's blob meta. People are starting to counter. You know, we're going to get the counters to the counter. It's going to be counter. You know, blobception. We're on Blob Island right now. You know, it's Blob week. We'll see. We'll see if it calms down. Like I said, there are a bunch of counters to this card. So we'll see if people start playing them. You know, if that changes things. I think the meta is going to have to sort itself out because you know this card's probably going to get nerfed for like at least 3 weeks. You know, at least probably till January. So you know, just embrace the chonk and Big Chungus.
That's it, Big Chungus. and I'm mad that this spotlight, this Hellfire Gala variant, he looks like Big Pun. I'm mad that this is a spotlight variant. I really wanted this one. It's so sick. Yeah, I don't see Blob unless they touch him up in the OTAs next week. I think there's going to be an OTA patch the 21st. Yeah, I don't see Havoc, you know, warping the meta to get rid of Blob. I think we're just living in the Blob's world right now. They'll probably find a way to nerf Thanos next week again. And then I'm not going to do this podcast anymore.
Well, maybe Clog, and then, you know, maybe Celine Clog could help the Thanos Blob, and yeah, who knows? Maybe people start playing Ramp Blob at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, just play Clog. Get these Thanos players out of here. You know, it's Clog just sucks with Thanos because you're always limited with board space. So play some debris, make the Thanos players mad, and the Blob won't matter when they can't play it anywhere. True. Anyways, blob it up. He's a fun card. Peace.
I don't want to be a player no more. Not a player, I just crush a lot.
That's great. Oh,
he does look like Big Pun. That's hilarious.
He does.
I didn't think of that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Bencito.